Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today for VAI's Coffee Talk. Today we're going to talk about verification of saleable returns and VRS. So I'm sure you know if you're watching this video that the DSCSA saleable returns requirement went into effect November of 2019. That requirement demands that wholesaler distributors perform product verification before reintroducing returned saleable product back into the market. So we're going to just talk about the bottlenecks that may cause in your supply chain, in your warehouse, as well as the entire supply chain of the pharmaceutical industry. So even though the enforcement is a little loose right now, it's a little subjective. It's not going to be that way forever. So it's very important that our customers get a handle on that, and we have some solutions I think that you will like. So let's start by a question that I get all the time. Is VRS necessary? So VRS is Verification Routing Service, and it does help you to complete your verification of saleable returns in an electronic manner. There's a few ways you can go about it, and we'll talk about that, but I always start with the first question. What is your company's return policy? Do you take returns today or do you not? If you don't even have to finish your coffee with me right now, because VRS is not necessary if you do not accept returns as a policy. You won't need it. It's moot. If you do accept returns today, but maybe it's so minor that you just don't want to deal with this requirement, a lot of companies are considering changing their policy on returns. Maybe you're just going to stop taking returns. So if that's the case, again, the answer is no, VRS is not necessary. Now, if you are, if you are taking returns and you're planning on keeping that policy, what is your typical volume, or what do you expect your volume to be? So if you do not have a high volume of returns, you can certainly go through the manual process of reaching out to your manufacturers and getting a manual verification, if you will. Right? If you have enough that you think it's going to impede your daily processes, slow things down, affect your efficiency, then yes, you do need VRS. So using VRS to verify your saleable returns, there's a few different ways you can do it. And manual is that's what I look like anytime someone tells me I have to do something manually. You can certainly pick up the phone, call your manufacturer, get the answers that you need, right? More likely you're going to email them and wait for a response, and this product's going to sit on your return desk or in a quarantine bin, and then someone is going to have to make sure they follow up and get that product marked appropriately and go through all of that. So that is certainly an option for you. Without using VRS, right, if you're doing it manually. But you can also have the option of, if you are using VRS, to do it disconnected. And what I mean by that is each VRS system runs autonomously. So it has its own login. You're going to go there, you're going to go to ADENS or LSPD's website, you're going to log in, you're going to type in all of the information that S2K already knows in the background. You're going to retype that in, get a verification, you're going to go back to S2K, you're going to type in the results of that, and finish processing your return. That doesn't sound very efficient to me. Your last option, which I feel is the best, obviously, is using our integrated black box VRS solution. And we are connected to ADENS and LSPedia today, and looking at some others. And by doing that, the system will handle these checks for you automatically. So let me just show you what that looks like, right? We would go into our normal return. We have a returns dashboard option. This is one of a few different ways, but I'm going to show you this way. So customer returns receiving dashboard. Our warehouse returns processor would open their dashboard, and they're going to either search for, scan, or type in their RA number. And when we do that and submit it, we're going to hit enter, and the system's going to show us the 2 items that were on that RA and the quantities thereof with their NDC amounts and lot numbers. And we're simply going to scan the 2D barcode. Right where our cursor was, we scanned an attached, we had an attached scanner, and we scanned the 2D barcode of the product. In the background, it sends this information, it parses it out appropriately, sends it through your VRS provider, and we get a response, right? That was instantaneous. So I get a confirmation, my product is verified, I'm good to go. Now, the next thing is our second item, right? Once I got that one approved, I'm just simply going to go ahead and scan the 2D barcode of the second item. And once I do that, again, I get an instantaneous response. And in this example, my second item did not qualify, or did not verify, rather. Now, depending on the VRS solution that I am using, will determine the actual results that I get here. We're passing the results back, so you may have a good reason or maybe additional messages or notes associated with it. But in this example, all that was returned was product did not verify. So now we go to compliance and we do our due diligence and figure it out. But we're able to put our first item away and move on. Okay? So I also just want to show you, that's during normal warehouse processing, but for some reason, if I need to just grab an item and do a quick VRS inquiry, I can do that as well. So we want to make sure we cover all bases with potentially any product that has come back to your warehouse, or maybe is sitting at a return desk, and we need to make sure it's good before putting it back on the floor. So what that looks like is just going to a simple VRS inquiry screen. The cursor pre-fills right here. I simply scan my 2D barcode just like I did during my warehouse receiving process. The system, again, parses out the information and gives me an instant result. So there you have it. That is a quick summary of why using an integrated VRS is probably the best way to go. If your company is taking returns and you want to make sure you're compliant with the recent requirement of the DSCSA, it's going to be our recommendation for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us anytime. Thanks so much. I hope you join us for our next Coffee Talk.